And one of the things that makes me really wonder about that is that there's a lot of this same team or same QB, new team. We talk about DJ Ukulele. We talk about Phil Jerkovich. Devin Leary was brought up. You mentioned a couple guys to me off camera that are on this list. JT Daniels, Peyton Thorne. There is a number of quarterbacks that are going that have moved, via the transfer portal or whatever, or have graduated and, moved on to other different schools. Who of these quarterbacks, who do you think can have actual success as opposed to hopping around like Slovis or JT Daniels?
I mean, the clear front runner is Sam Hartman. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But then you look at it, I think Tanner Mordecai going from SMU to Wisconsin, that's a sneaky good one. It'll be interesting to see what Shadur Sanders can do at Colorado with D1 talent, or against D1 talent. A lot of these guys, Hudson Card for me is an underrated one, a sneaky good one. Like you said, we saw how he played at Texas last year when yours went down. Him at Purdue, that's going to be a lot of fun to see. And then, I mean, you look at some of these guys, it's going to be a lot on the scheme. Brennan Armstrong, how's he going to fare with the new scheme there at NC State? I mean, DJ Uwangalele, we both think that it's a great fit for him. We actually got to see it on the field, though. Cade McNamara, if Iowa allows him to play quarterback, that offense can be very good. Especially, I mean, he'll have that connection with Eric All, the tight end that transferred with him from Michigan. Iowa always does amazing things with tight ends, so that worries me a little bit. But if they actually allow McNamara to play quarterback, that'll be very good for them. Devin Leary, we'll have to see what the talent kind of is around him. And Kedon Slovis at BYU, that's an interesting one. Jaron Hall's out the door. Let's see if he can finally be what everyone touted him to be when he was at USC.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple other names we'll talk about. You mentioned Jeff Sims going to Nebraska. He definitely got slept on because he was at Georgia Tech. But towards the end of that year, they were really starting to figure it out and work it together.
Yeah.
Now he's going to Nebraska. We all know Rule, the coach, the Panthers' old coach, the guy that was at Baylor a couple years back. Now he's over there paired with this guy. I mean, hey, you got a great athlete in a quarterback. And I mean, it's great to start where you're not having to start from scratch. You're having to start with somebody that actually can play the system that you're trying to run.
Yep.
So, let me see.
Phil Jerkovich.
I really want to see what he's able to do. He's a gutsy guy. I love to see him perform at Boston College. And now having him at Pitt with Narduzzi at head coach, who's a gritty, gutsy. You know what I mean? I want to see if that can translate over there. Who were they saying? They were saying Donovan went back to Cuba.
their Bucks joke, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, good old Ben. What's going on, Ben? Yeah, so this is interesting. One name I want to say, and this is for Will, Spencer Rattler, 23. Highly touted years ago as the second coming of greatness at Oklahoma. Obviously, we know what happened. Caleb Williams came in, took his job. Rattler then transferred the next year to South Carolina. It's been up, it's been down. Even though the team and the coach, they had a great 5-6 game run. His play was iffy. On this list, he's 23rd. Is that too high? Is that too low? I mean, middle of the pack, what do you think?
I don't hate that spot for him because that to me is kind of in that section. He's arguably the top of that section where those highs are really, really high. Like, I mean, you look at that Clemson game last year, he balled out against Clemson, played very well. But then there's games where he looks awful, and you're like, why is this guy starting quarterback for a Div 1 team? So it's just he's he's got to figure it out. I don't know if it's mentally, if he's just not reading defenses right, or what the issue is there. But man, when he's on, he is one of the better quarterbacks in college football. He's got to be that way consistently.
Yeah.
If he figures it out, he's a first-round pick.
Well, and that's the thing that kind of always worried me or troubled me with him, is that he's so highly touted. And like you said, when he's on, he's on. But when he's not, or when he has any kind of what it seems like adversity, it's just, I mean, you don't want him at all. He just is not a good look. I remember after Caleb Williams kind of came and took the job, he just looked like he was pouting all the time. Yeah. And I get it. You know, you were the main guy at one of the big schools in Oklahoma, and now you're on the bench. But we've seen stuff like that before. Jalen Hurts dealt with it with Tua Tagovailoa in the national championship, and still, you know, found out how to overcome that. Now
he was a class act about it.
Well, right, and that's saying a lot. Not everybody can do that. You know, you're going to be bitter, but at the same time, Spencer just consistency and motivation. Where's his head at? That's always been questions for me.
Yeah.
So, here we go. Rattler is not good. Not a good QB. His headscape is off. I'm telling you, that's how I feel.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Carson Beck. We're interested to see what he brings to the table. The fact that he's so high, probably because he's on Georgia, the defending national champion, but he hasn't done anything. He hasn't played a snap.
And I think that kind of feeds into one of Ben's comments earlier about Jordan Travis. Is a lot of this is, yes, we're looking at these quarterbacks, but you also got to look at what they have around them. Jordan Travis arguably has the best group of receivers in the nation.
Right.
Like Keon Coleman going there on top of what they already had. Just the rich getting richer there with weapons. And I mean, Carson Beck, you got Brock Bowers. You've got weapons galore. And I mean, thank you. I just blanked on his name. Kyle McCord for Ohio State. You get the best receiver in college football, and Marvin Harrison Jr. to throw to.
Right.
And I mean, they never have a shortage of receivers. So, again, weapons galore there. So, yeah, it's just like some of these guys are ranked as high as they are because of what they have to work with.
Right.